Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your May 2021 TWitWoW Monthly Q&A. And you know, John, this is the least amount of questions that we have had, I believe, since the first month that we did this, because I think the first month we had a teen number, like 16 or 18 or something like that. And every single time we've done one of these since then, we've been at least in the 30s. But we are channeling our inner 50 Cent here because we've got 21 questions and they all about us.
Ah, God. All right, well, I'm ready to dive into this. Let's get into this. Who's our first set of questions from?
Well, who do you think our first set of questions is from? Who is it always?
Hypothesis?
Bingo! It's Hypothesis. We've got 3 from Hypothesis. Our first question from old HPT is, if Lucha Underground were to get a reboot, should they have the original 7 tribes or come up with new ones?
I mean, Lucha Underground was such lightning in a bottle, like a once-in-a-lifetime thing to me, that if you were to attempt it again, which we know MLW is doing, I would personally just do a completely new lore, honestly. Maybe even, I don't even know if you could do like a prequel series, because then you'd really need the 7 tribes, but just something, because if you try and lean too hard into the mythos of the old, people are just going to want the old even more. And like, you're not going to do that because like the entire roster, I feel like, more or less, is either just inactive with WWE, with AEW, like they're just scattered across. So I don't know. I feel like if you're going to do a reboot, I personally would have it be a hard reboot, new mythos for a new roster. This way you make as much of a clean severance as possible, even though it's always going to be tethered, however tenuously, to the old property. How do you feel, man?
I kind of view it as like a branch timeline almost. I think one branch is, if we get back the original writing staff, you just continue with the story that they were trying to tell as best you can with the, with the personnel that you're able to accumulate. But otherwise, if you can't get, DJ and Roach and Waganin all back in the same room together, if that doesn't work out and you have to start a new writing staff, or maybe you only have one of those 3 guys and they have to find more people to help out or whatever, I think that it would be really smart to basically play it off as if the ending of season 1 was, or the ending of season 4, I mean, was basically just like, okay, that's it. The bad guys win, the apocalypse is coming, and then start a new season in sort of the post-apocalyptic world where maybe you found a new hero that might be able to unite the tribes and save us from destruction or something along those lines. I don't know.
I completely agree with your sentiment. I would say at most, maybe you'd even want to do something similar to what Mortal Kombat did, because after Mortal Kombat 9, like a lot of the OGs were killed off, right? And then beginning with Mortal Kombat 10, you had this new generation of fighters. So maybe after the end of season 4, like you spoke of, maybe Havoc was wreaked. You know what I mean? Like you said, the bad guys won, but then you get this new generation of people, and maybe they could still be, like, again, tenuously tied to the tribes.
Right.
And you just
then, like, if anybody would happen to get released from WWE, like maybe Morrison retires from WWE and he wants to make a guest appearance, or Ricochet gets released, that feels almost inevitable at this point. Or, maybe 5-10 years down the line, if Hijo de Fantasma, Santos Escobar is no longer with WWE. Like, there are a bunch of guys that they could just bring back for, like, basically cameo appearances, like in like a movie,
Yeah, for sure, dude. Honestly, it'd be so hilarious to see Ricochet come back and after the way, like, he shit talked it, and really just the people behind it the first time.
I mean, dude, I promise you, we had a conversation live on the air at some point around the time that Ricochet talked shit about Lucha Underground on that New Japan show, where we said, oh, I can't wait for you to fail in WWE and come crawling back, and wish that you had it anywhere near as good in WWE as you have it in Lucha Underground.
Yeah. Getting to be about that time. So we'll have to see. But what's Hypothesis is the next question?
Second question from HPT is, who would you cast as the new Puma, Mil, Cuerno, Azteca, Cobra Moon, El Bunny, and Mariposa? And there's a second part to this, but I figure we should just focus on this part first because
Jesus Christ.
it's a lot. It's a lot. Honestly, I think we both just kind of discussed, I don't know if you should recast these characters. I don't think, like, you probably, at this point, you'd definitely be able to get back Mill. You'd definitely be able to get back the Azteca Jr. He's already still around. I'm guessing you'd probably be able to get Cobra Moon back. You'd be able to get El Bunny back and Mariposa maybe. So really, it's just a matter of recasting Prince Puma and King Cuerno, and I don't think I would want to.
I wouldn't want to. We
Puma
already had like
a very apropos send-off, personally.
Yeah, like we pretty much, like you just said, we discussed it extensively in the first question. I wouldn't even expend the labor to do it, so I couldn't even begin to think who would take their place, and it would just be weird because, again, you'd already be setting yourself up to fail because people would be thinking about the original incarnations of these characters.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What was the second part of the question? We kind of
had a discussion at one point when we knew that Ricochet was leaving about, like, if they could recast Prince Puma, and if they couldn't, just, like, what kind of performer we would want to be sort of that role. And I think we both kind of agreed that El Dragon Azteca Jr. was maybe not the best for that role because he's more of a supporting cast than, like, the main guy. And I actually think that we both kind of agreed that, like, Trent Beretta or someone like that would be a really cool option. Just because, like, they kind of have, like, that completeness. Like, Trent Beretta specifically is, like, this complete performer. Like, he's charismatic, he can talk, he's got a great physique. Like, he kind of checks all the boxes that you want out of that sort of protagonist-type character.
Yeah, for sure.
But obviously now that's not even really an option because he's in AEW and he's getting on the older side. Like, so yeah, I don't know if there's really anyone in wrestling right now that I would look to for that role. I think it's just a matter of you'd have to. That's the problem. Well, I shouldn't say it's a problem with AEW because it's just them trying to get theirs. But for us, it's a problem that AEW is scooping up all of the indie talent because and especially because we used to basically rely on PWG to be like, hey, here's the hot new upcoming indie talent, and now they're just dead. PWG basically got eaten by AEW, and now we just don't know what to watch as far as indie stuff goes.
Yeah, pro wrestling's an
AEW. Can't watch bar wrestling. Fuck Joey Ryan.
Yeah, like pro wrestling's in a very weird, sad place for me right now. Like, yeah. I never wanted to become the Poro snob, but I think history has forced my hand here because Stardom. And I'll admit, New Japan's got my attention again with the world title being vacant, and I'm wondering who they're going to make is, I'm assuming the interim champion, because I'm guessing they'll be itching to get it back on Ospreay when he's healthy. But, yeah, it's a weird place. But what was part two of Hypothesis' question? Because you said it was
part two of the question was, what would be the new Aztec tribes?
What do you think, man? Because, again, with questions like these...
I do really, really like some of the tribes that they already had. Like, the Deer tribe, to me, is fucking perfect, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I think, like, the Deer tribe, the Jaguar tribe, like, some of the tribes I think are absolutely perfect. I would say the Deer tribe. Maybe we even... actually, you know what? Let me pull up. I'll send it to you, too. The picture of the belt. Here. I'll just send this to you on Facebook real quick. So we can remember. So it's the Deer tribe, the Rabbit tribe, the Moth tribe, the Snake tribe, the Eagle tribe, I believe it was, the Jaguar tribe, and then question mark. I think we kind of called it the Death tribe, basically.
Yeah.
Or like the Vulture tribe or the Condor tribe or something like that.
Yeah, man. This fucking belt. I miss the show. I miss the show. I don't really know what MLW is going to do, and to be quite honest, I don't care. But, like
I said, MLW is a blatant fucking ripoff as far as I'm concerned. But anyway.
Yeah.
So I would say keep everything but Moth and Death. Because to me, if you don't have Marty, there's no fucking point of having a Moth tribe. The Moth tribe is really designed for Marty. So I would ditch the Moth. Maybe go with a Bat tribe instead. I think a Bat tribe would be really cool. And then, like, I don't know. I almost wonder if the quote-unquote Death tribe was meant to be something completely different. Like, if it was designed to be, like, a specific type of animal, or even, like, just because everything's kind of based in Mexico, maybe like a Chupacabra tribe or something crazy like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I could buy that. I could get into that for sure. I think they did a really good job with the tribes, though. I would maybe ditch the rabbit tribe, too, because you're not going to be able to fucking reignite that flame, you know?
No, do the bear tribe. But
Ooh, did you just say bear tribe? I love that.
Yeah, bear tribe.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. I would love a bear tribe, yeah. That's a hell of an upgrade from the rabbit tribe. Like, you still have a four-legged fuzzy mammal, but we're upgrading. We're getting bigger, stronger, powerful, scarier.
Exactly.
And the bear tribe could literally just consist of, like, powerhouses, like big, strong dudes.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Like, hell, 5 years from now, you never know. We might be able to get a Keith Lee in there.
Yeah, oh God. All right, next question from him.
Yep, that was both like a two-parter second question, but then the third question is, with Mia Yim, speaking of Keith Lee, with Mia Yim apparently moving to SmackDown, do you think Keith Lee will also jump ship and possibly even dethrone the Tribal Chief? Here's to hoping. I'm hoping, but I'm not expecting. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, like, I don't want to make this more of an extended question than it needs to be, so I'm just going to answer immediately no. I don't think Keith Lee is going to be going to SmackDown, although I think him and Roman, because again, I love the connections Roman has with people, and I want him to revisit those connections now that he's a full-fledged heel. Like, I mentioned Balor in my tweet, right, when somebody was like, oh, there's speculation, and speculation started up again. I said, hey, if the speculation's true, I would not complain at all if Balor won Money in the Bank, and, like, him and Roman were the summer program. Because, like, those two have awesome chemistry together. And I guarantee you, if you thought their matches were good with old Roman and old Finn, the way both of these guys have changed, I think they could legitimately have match of the year contenders, honestly. Like, they'd kill it. Same way with Roman and Keith Lee. Keith Lee itching to prove himself. Roman being like, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. It'd just be perfect. I'm still hoping, and again, I want to stress the word hope, because there is no tangible reality to this whatsoever, that whatever is going on with Keith Lee, I'm telling you guys, I think it's a money matchup for Raw if you do Bobby Lashley, Keith Lee at SummerSlam. I just wish WWE saw it that way, and I don't think they do. But, this guy should be a world champion before the end of this year. It's really not that hard, I promise. But no, I don't think he's going to jump to SmackDown and do Roman. My hope is, again, Bobby Lashley. But again, I have nothing tangible to base that on. So that's all for me. You want to move on to the next question?
All right, next set of questions are from Super Blue. First question from Super Blue is, why does Kenny Omega think copying the belt collector gimmick from Austin Aries is a good idea? Well, first of all, the real question here is why anyone thinks that anything Austin Aries ever did was good. But the second part is, like, why does Austin Aries get to claim ownership over the idea of collecting titles? Didn't fucking, what was it?
Ultimo Dragon did it first.
I was going to say Hayabusa, but yeah, Ultimo Dragon back in, like, the 90s had, like, a crazy belt collection. Like, fuck Austin Aries. Austin Aries is fucking irrelevant. Stop talking about Austin Aries. Stop giving this man your mind space.
Yeah, I'm not going to give him my oxygen so he can transform. Fuck him. But other than that, I mean, look, maybe it's just because I'm burnt out. Because, again, I did talk about that for me. Wrestling's just in a really sad state. Like, I've never felt emotionally further from wrestling, at least in the West, right, than I do presently. But, like, who gives a fuck?
Right?
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry if this is an insensitive answer to this question, but all these people talking about, no, Kenny's better, no, Orton's better, and I'm just sitting here like, who cares? And, like, I understand if you want to have a healthy conversation about it. We fucking do it all the time. We wouldn't have a show if we didn't. But I feel like people get way too invested in this shit. And again, I can't totally judge. I remember how I was in my teenage years and as a child about wrestling. But at almost 30, I'm just looking at this and I'm like, I wish we'd get this fired up about unions for wrestlers and this and that for wrestlers and, like, cleaning up the locker room for wrestlers. And, like, I don't care. Kenny's making his money. Good for him. I really just got over the dude very quickly. I mean, New Japan was a golden era for him. Haven't been invested in him since. If he's collecting belts, cool, I guess. That's one way to make a heel. I mean, Roman only needs one title to be the fucking GOAT, but if you need 5, whatever gets you going, bud. So I don't see what the hubbub is. I really don't. Do you have anything you want to add, sir, that's remotely useful?
Dude, you said it perfectly. I'm moving on. Next question from Super Blue. It's number 2. And it is a steaming number 2 because he wants us to cut a promo on LIJ for attacking Yoshihashi on his birthday when he came out to accept Naito's challenge for the Never 6-Man tag titles.
Okay, I got this.
I want to wait. Okay, fine. I wanted to go first, but you're good.
No. It's fine because my promo is no. I'm proud of them for doing it, and I wish I was
going to say
my
promo is good job, boys. Do it again next week.
yeah. There you go. Actually, screw next week. I mean, yes, next week, but keep doing it. Keep thinking about how you can mentally and emotionally break him again until he realizes he doesn't belong in this business. That's my fucking promo.
Yeah.
Next.
I mean, Yoshihashi is beloved because he tries so hard, so just make him stop trying.
Yeah, Super Blue. More like I just Super Blue balled your question. All right, next question from Super Blue.
Third question from Super Blue is, how do you feel about WWE releasing Patrick Clark? Is there any chance that he could still be innocent? There has still been no proper investigation done.
Actually, this is perfect because I know just Alex pretty much asked the same thing, albeit in a bit of a different way. So
I actually spoke with him on Facebook, and I got him to change that question so we don't have a repeat.
Oh, okay, cool. I don't think he's innocent. I still believe the accusers. That voice recording is still sus as hell. I know he did address it in his novella of a statement saying he was asking about wrestling schools. Now, but here is where I ultimately do come down. I would like a proper investigation. Absolutely. I don't think there ever was one.
No,
I always laugh at the term internal investigation because whoever is going to find fault in their own house, right? So I would like a legitimate one. And yeah, if it turns out by some miracle, because I think it's a big stretch from where I sit, that there was no wrongdoing, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it and we'll talk about it. But I don't believe he's innocent. I still believe the people that accused him, everybody that's been, and I've seen quite a few that's like, oh, see, you ruined this man's life. That's another thing I don't get either. It's like, he's still alive, right? Like, he's still got a chance to, clear his name and do other stuff. As long as you're breathing, as long as you still have life inside of you, you're not completely ruined. I don't know. I just think it's always.
It's the thing is, if a proper investigation gets done, which I doubt will even happen, honestly, but if a proper investigation gets done, and whatever files were charged on Dream, he gets cleared of, and he gets declared not guilty, and it is irrefutably proven that these dudes that accused him of this are liars, and maybe even they get put in prison for a false accusation, I think that his public image will improve almost instantaneously to the point that he will probably be a very fast re-signing for the WWE.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah, I have no doubt about that.
Yeah,
so,
we're speaking strictly on hypotheticals here, and I don't believe that any of these hypotheticals are likely to happen. But in this hypothetical world where he didn't do it, and that can be irrefutably proven, that these kids that are accusing him of this creepy shit are just outright lying and trying to frame him to ruin his life for no goddamn reason, then yeah, I think he's just going to end up getting re-signed by WWE. His public image will be completely repaired and it'll be fine. It'll have taken, maybe a couple years off of his career, but he's still super duper young.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sorry, but I feel like he should have done it from the get-go. His whole reasoning of I wanted to protect my character and shit. Bro, your character's stock is dying every day that a formal investigation isn't done.
Exactly.
Jesus Christ.
Fuck your character. Fucking stupid shit. I understand wanting to maintain kayfabe and all. That's cute. Okay, whatever. But, if you didn't do it, come out and fucking say you didn't do it long before the WWE's just oh yeah, we looked into it. No, that's not enough. Fuck you.
Well, yeah, and I've got to say too, and this is why it's such a bullshit, flimsy excuse. I don't think he's giving nearly enough credit for how willing people are to suspend disbelief. Because how often do we see our favorite performers tweet out of character or use social media out of character?
Sami
right?
Zayn is one of the funniest heels in wrestling, and he's the best person in wrestling.
Exactly. So cut the shit. You fucking did it. You're trying to deflect every which fucking way. Fuck you. And especially hurts for me. Look, I wanted him to be innocent from the very beginning. The dude was one of my favorite performers. But the moment I heard that voice recording and more shit even come out, I'm like, nah, he did it. He's trash. Yep. So, like, either do the process and clear your name, or fuck off. And don't write any more Instagram novellas. They're terrible reads. Next question.
Well, and the thing is, too, like, if he would have immediately had the exact story that he had when he put out that statement after getting released, if he would have put that shit out the day of or even the day after he got accused, I think it would have been a lot easier to believe him. But the fact that he took a goddamn year to think of this story and try and plug as many holes in it as possible, no, fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah, and by the way, Jackie, I am totally on your energy because ever since those accusations came out, Matt Riddle annoys the fuck out of me. I saw a thumbnail of him on Raw Talk making like that O face, like, whoa, and it just annoyed the fuck out of me. I blocked WWE's YouTube channel, I think just for that video. Like, I was like, no, fuck this. So no, same energy, Jackie. Yeah, get rid of him. I hate that he's getting pushed. I hate him now. That's what I'm saying, guys. Pro wrestling really took a hit for me over here because of speaking out and other shit. Like, oh, and then they let go of Tom Phillips, and that was fucking great today. So WWE just stays winning.
The one goddamn man who had a leak come out about him having consensual sex. Holy shit!
I know, right? God damn. Shame on him. Oh, God.
That's why he got released. Vince only prefers rapists.
You know what, dude? I'm honestly... I'm only going to say this in response to what you just said. It amazes me that Vince is speaking out hasn't happened yet, and I'm pretty sure people are waiting until he's dead. Like, if stories aren't coming out after that man dies, I will be fucking shocked, honestly.
Yeah, because if anyone comes out and accuses him now, they'll get fucking Epstein.
They'll be buried. Yeah, they'll be eviscerated. No fucking doubt.
You said buried. I'm talking more literal. I said Epstein. They'll get fucking... Oh, they hang themselves. Like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so they're playing the long game, but it's also the smart game. Anyway, next question.
Yes, fourth question from Super Blue. Not how, that was the last question. Now that you like Everrise, which that's a fucking stretch, are you going to watch Everrise live?
Super Blue, I've always wanted to ask you this. How does it feel to be so wrong all the time? Because, like, I wouldn't know.
And confidently, right? Too.
God, like, right, dude, right? Holy shit. No, I'm not going to watch Everrise live. They've had 2 good segments, and mainly for me because they're not being yelly about it, which I really appreciate. But, like, that's not something to celebrate, right? Maybe
they're
if you're
still
more
boring as shit in the ring, but as long as you keep their segments to funny comedy skits backstage, Breezango style, yeah, we're down.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, Foster. I don't mean to hurt you with this. You can blame Super Blue. He brought it to our faces. But yeah, that's not happening, sir. That's not happening.
He did bring it to our faces. You can't deny that.
Exactly, yeah. It's irrefutable. Next set of questions.
Fifth and final question from Super Blue.
Oh my god, it's still going. All right.
Fifth and final. Choose 2 to protect you. The rest will try to kill you. Who do you choose? The 9 choices are Donkey Kong, Luigi, Link from Zelda, Pit from Icarus, or Kid Icarus, Mario, Samus, Yoshi, Fox, Kirby.
I'll go Kong and Fox.
I was going to go Fox and Samus, so we both picked Fox.
You know why? Because your face has taste, that's why. Alright.
I thought it was just because Fox is the best character to play in Smash Bros. Melee.
I mean, honestly, I never even really, think about that stuff. I just, I have a childhood connection to Star Fox 64. I think that was the first game I ever beat in full, so...
Oh,
it's pretty good.
Really sweet. Okay.
Yeah, my sensitive side. Alright, next set of questions.
Next set of questions are from Mets. First up, what was your favorite game show growing up as a kid?
Weakest link. You?
Hard Sharks.
Oh, God. Again, with the taste. How does it feel to have such an impeccable face? Dude. Game Show Network on some real shit, dude. Since this is one of the better events of men's
quizzes. Dude, I love GSN. Holy shit. I
used to do my homework to that shit, dude, because you're not
wrong
about
Ultimate Dodgeball on GSN?
I believe so. I think that was part of their late night block.
Dude, yeah. I loved Ultimate Dodgeball. That was my shit.
I might lose you here, but I also was a fan of the Whammy game. Just to see if they would lose everything.
Yeah, double whammy, absolutely, yeah, for sure.
Did you ever see the mini documentary where the guy figured it out?
About the guy that broke the game? Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, man, this was nice. This is a cozy question, but yeah, weakest link for me. You said Card Sharks. Trying to think if there were any other games on GSN that I enjoyed watching. You know what? Let me just get this out there. Fuck Chuck Woolery, but I did enjoy Lingo. I don't know who
Chuck Woolery is, but I'll believe you.
He's like, dude, he's one of those conservatives that says, like, it's word salad for him. Like, he throws names of, like, philosophers that are perceived to be left or people that are perceived to be left. You know, he's one of those cultural Marxism types, to put it a nice little bow on.
Oh, Jordan Peterson type.
Yeah. And maybe even more, like, fucking fringe and like out there, but yeah, he used to be the host of Lingo, and I like Lingo because it was one of those like word solving games.
Is that the one where you get 5 letters and you get the start of the word and you have to guess the whole word based on context?
Yes,
I fucking love that show.
Yeah, look, see, oh my god. You and I, we need to find a way. We need to find like an archive of like GSN shows, and we should just marathon them together. I'll fucking watch Card Shark with you.
I'd be so down. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm guessing the fun's over. What's the next Mets question? What do we got?
I mean, no, I'm not going to say it. That was actually a really nice question. Second question from Mets: prior to and or since the pandemic, have you two ever considered doing a panel at a convention?
No, I don't even know if we're popular enough for that shit. I mean, it'd be interesting. But like,
I'm waiting for you to say something I don't agree with.
See, it's funny because I do, and I really don't mean this as a flex, even though I'm sure it's going to come off that way. Like, I have conference experience, you know, doing philosophy and everything, so I'm used to speaking in front of people. But I think in the context of like our podcast, it would be so weird. Like,
I think the closest thing to a panel that we'd be able to do is like cultivating a healthy audience.
Yeah, like we have a really good thing going, guys, and I'd like to keep that at a social distance. So yeah, I don't think we'll ever do a convention. Let me just ask you: was it that I used that term, or was it my tone?
It was 100% the tone.
Yes, I knew it. But yeah,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
You're at about a 12, and I need you at least at a 9.
I'll think about it. All right, what's
you right now?
what's Mets' next question?
Third and final question from Mets: with New Japan shut down until further notice, how long can the Impact AEW partnership hold up on its own?
Honestly,
probably. You guys keep asking us AEW questions. We don't watch AEW. We don't care about AEW. We don't pay attention to AEW. I resent people that try and tell me what's happening in AEW. I don't give a fuck.
I love how you thought about it for like a second, and then you're like, yeah, I'm choosing anger on this, and then you just let him have it. Because I
just want to get the message across. Guys, stop asking us about AEW. We don't care.
Yeah, we really don't. We really don't.
Hell, we've been trying to get the message across that we don't care about TNA or Impact or whatever you want to call it for somehow even longer, and yet we still get questions asking about it.
Yeah, and like I was even gonna say, like, not even to go that hard on Impact, but absolutely fuck AEW. Probably as long as they wanted to.
Honestly, you have a better chance at getting us to watch Impact now that Josh Matthews is out of the picture than you have at getting us to watch AEW. Sincerely, we are less likely to be salty about reacting to Impact now than we have been about, or than we would be about reacting to an AEW show, or even talking about AEW. I'm so fucking done with AEW. Like, there's nothing there for me. Like, Ray Phoenix is the one dude that I consistently like to watch that's in AEW, and I view that as a negative because they basically taken my ability to watch him away because he's surrounded in a pile of shit.
Yeah, and like, just to actually answer the question, Matt, the partnership will go on for as long as they wanted to. I thought Impact was going to die like a decade ago. If they've lived through everything they've lived through...
If they survived trying to compete on Mondays with Hulk Hogan... They're gonna live forever.
Yeah, they really are. I'm gonna die before Impact Wrestling dies. That's how confident I feel, honestly. So yeah, the partnership will go on as long as they want it to. That's honestly my belief, because Impact's got that scary resiliency. I don't even know where they fucking get it from. But next question.
I wouldn't be surprised if Impact outlived AEW.
I wouldn't either. I was gonna say it, but I didn't know if I'd be foolish, so I'm glad you did, because I trust your face. And yeah, I agree. If they outlived AEW, I'd be like, oh, well, I expected it, but it's still, I guess.
Because AEW is only going to live for as long as Tony Khan is still interested in it.
Yeah, exactly.
The minute he loses interest, he sells it off, and then it just fucking crumbles.
Exactly.
Sorry for getting a little angry there, but...
No, I thought it was hilarious and totally justified, because, fuck AEW. Yeah. It's like anyway, you were trying to think, yeah.
Next set of questions are from Just Alex. First up, what are your thoughts on the release of Adnan Virk, and do you feel WWE set him up to fail from Jump Street?
I think the tweet that I had about it perfectly encapsulates my sentiments. I have no ill will towards the guy. He was asked to do a job, and he did the job the best that he could. And I wanted Tom Phillips back in the booth, but I think Adnan Virk, I think he's indicative of a bigger problem that I didn't even know was happening. Because we know that Michael Cole is kind of overseeing the announcing, all that talent. And at first, I'm going to be honest, I'm like, oh, well, Cole's earned it. Whether we like him or not, he's put in his time. It makes sense. But I have to ask sincerely, and I'm not trying to turn up here, what's going on over there, Cole? Because, Phillips is gone now. Joe is gone because he wanted to compete, and that's more understandable because he was a wrestler before he was a commentator. You bring in Virk with no prep. I honestly feel like they should have started him on 205 or NXT UK or a show that personally you and I don't watch. Right?
205 would have been the perfect learning platform for him.
Yeah.
Because you're immediately thrust into a situation where you have to basically call fast-paced action and try and keep up with moves that are going constantly, but you're on the smallest possible platform that WWE has to offer. Or even main event. He could have done main event and 205. He could have done both of those. Because like I said, those are the platforms where you're allowed to kind of experiment and screw up and not be perfect. And you just get better there, and when you're good enough there, then you get called up, and the job's even easier because it's slower. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Dude, they did not prep this dude at all. What's the second part of the question, by the way? Because he said, how do you feel about him?
Do you think he was set up to fail from Jump Street?
I definitely do.
Absolutely. He did not have a chance. He could have been Mauro Ranallo, but when Mauro Ranallo was first starting off in the wrestling business, I bet he probably wasn't that great either.
Yeah.
And could have been the next fucking voice of the WWE for all we know, but it doesn't goddamn matter because they started him green as goose shit, not knowing what the hell he's doing, not being as familiar with the product as he should have been, not being as familiar with the move calls that he was supposed to be making, and he didn't have a chance. He could have dedicated all 20, or I guess I should say all 16 of his waking hours of every single goddamn day to learning the business, to learning the moves, to learning how to call, and it just wouldn't matter because he got no time to learn.
Yeah, dude, I don't know what's going on in that company, dude. Because again, I'm being 100% sincere.
Dude, you've heard about this whole thing with Nick Khan now. This whole thing is he's trying to kind of make a fingerprint on an impression on the company. He's trying to basically mold the company in his own image, which I think is why they fired Tom Phillips, because Phillips wasn't a Nick Khan guy. He'd been there before Nick Khan. So I think Nick Khan is basically cleaning house. He's getting rid of some of the faces that we're more familiar with and bringing in new guys that are more his buddies, which is why Adnan Virk got that job and why this new guy's getting the job now too.
But see, oh my God. This really, it's so funny that WWE likes to talk about occasionally, and, they did the whole series a while back on the Monday Night Wars and how, the tide had turned for them and they were just kicking the crap out of WCW, because this just feels like late-era WCW shit to me. Dude, because honestly, to me, because Adnan Virk only lasted 7 episodes, right? What are we going to start doing, dude? A guest commentator every week, the same way they used to do guest hosts? Oh, this person's going to be on the booth this week? I honestly, at this point, would not be surprised if that actually happened. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Tom Phillips was there for 10 years. 10 years. And you're going to, drop him.
In my opinion, he was the best play-by-play guy they had. Especially post Morrow. But even including Morrow, if we're talking about appeal to a mainstream audience and not more of a niche audience that likes that like over the top passion that Morrow brought to the table, I still would have taken Tom over Morrow if we're trying to appeal to a broad audience.
Bro, in this era of commentators where, like, you can tell the style has changed completely from, like, the 90s and early 2000s, he was the best of that era of commentary.
Tom Phillips, to me, hands down, Tom Phillips should have been the next Michael Cole. Phillips looked like less of a geek than Cole did in the 90s. Like, Michael Cole was constantly the butt of jokes in the 90s. The biggest joke that anyone's ever pulled on Tom Phillips was calling him Mike.
Yeah. I really think they lost a huge asset, and wherever he ends up, and
I think that, you know, we talk about how dumb it was that they released Samoa Joe, but we can also understand why. Because he wanted to wrestle, he wanted out. I think this is the most unjustifiable release that they have done since the beginning of last year.
Oh, totally. To the point where, dude, if I'm honest with you, and maybe it's just because, like, I've just been so traumatized by pro wrestling with everything that's happened, like, behind the scenes. Unless there was some dirt on him or he did some shady shit, I really cannot understand.
The biggest thing that I found about him is that apparently he broke COVID protocol right before WrestleMania.
Oh, okay. I mean,
but to me, that's like, if you're gonna release him, why the fuck is Casey Catanzaro still on your roster?
Yeah, for sure. Like, and I'm sorry, like, I definitely frown upon it, but like,
I agree. It's like a tisk, like slap on the wrist, Tom Naughty. It's not
like losing your job. Like, yeah, exactly. Like that's a bit much for me. I hate it. I really hate it. And this is coming from a guy. Remember, guys, I used to want to be a play-by-play guy as a kid because I loved commentary growing up. I mean, J.R. and King, I grew up on that shit. And Tom Phillips, again, fine voice, and wherever he ends up, it's WWE's loss for sure.
Dude, I would go as far as to say that Tom could have been, if they had kept him around and kind of positioned him in such a way that it made sense, could have been a better play-by-play commentator than JR. Because JR was fucking amazing. I don't want to try and take away from JR. I acknowledge that when he was good, he was fucking great. But we also need to remember, WWE is a business. WWE is all about trying to appeal to as many people as possible, and JR's Southern accent and his look were both things that would have made people change the channel. Tom had nothing like that. Tom was a good-looking guy. He was tall. He was charismatic. He had a great commentary voice, and he wasn't overbearing, which is the worst fucking thing in commentary.
Yeah, you're 100% right on all counts.
Tom had everything. Like, if I were to build up a play-by-play commentary from scratch, just fuck you and give me Tom Phillips.
Yeah, I completely agree. I really have nothing of substance to add because I think you hit every point there. Big loss for them.
Is Next Tom question. Phillips the best pro wrestling play-by-play commentary in the world right now? Because I honestly think that there's an argument there.
Yeah, with Morrow not doing it, and even with Morrow doing it, like you said, I mean, I think
Tom... We're going for mass appeal, I think it's...
Yeah. Tom was definitely the best one to me, for sure.
I think Cole is like number 2, but he's grating at times. And Tom, never have I ever thought, man, Tom Phillips is being really grating right now. Never. Not ever at any point in my life.
Yeah, I mean, I have never heard us go in on Tom the way that you went in on... Who's the guy on fucking NXT? I'm blanking on his name. Vic Joseph, that's right. Yeah, like, in fact, somebody even played a clip of one of their favorite Tom Phillips calls, and it was Lashley winning the title.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just Tom saying, very passionately, mind you, like, dominance. Absolute dominance. I'm like, he sold the moment perfectly. Yep. Like, goddamn, how this dude was not Michael Cole's successor, I will never know. What a mind fuck. Because now, see, stuff like this scares me because I'm not trying to go hard on Cole because, like you said, he can be grating at times. But
I'll tell you what, I'm not a big fan of Matt Stryker. If they went and got Tom to be the new play-by-play guy in Impact and replace Stryker already, I would probably want to actually start watching Impact on Thursdays.
Yeah, I'd check it out for sure. Because I don't think WWE understands or they've forgotten how important good commentary is.
Yeah.
And, like, that has been made painfully clear to me with this firing today, because how this dude, and again, my larger concern as somebody that is invested for a lot of reasons. And again, I reiterated earlier the sentimental reasons. I used to, want to be this thing, this play-by-play commentator for WWE. Who's going to be Cole's successor now? Are you expect him to stay behind the booth for another 20 years while you train somebody or whatever? Like, what the fuck are you doing?
You already had someone 10 years in and you just released him.
Dude, that's like, that's the one thing. Can I just say, like,
that's some fucking Nolan energy. I can start again. I can make another kid. What's 17 years?
Yeah, dude, it really is, because putting aside, like, Tom specifically and how wonderful he was and everything else, you flushed 10 years down the toilet. If that isn't the height of narcissism that your company is untouchable, Jesus Christ.
Oh, God, that was hilarious. I'm ready to move on if you are.
Yeah, let's do it, yeah.
All right, second question from Alex. Your overall thoughts on the state of NXT and, if any, what improvements you would like to see in 2021?
I'm just... Yeah, I'm at best very meh on it.
Do you mean, yeah, at best, yeah. So, yeah, like, to me, it's just ditch the trash. Like, to name people, LA Knight, Killer Cross, Raquel Gonzalez. Get rid of those three, and I would feel like the product would improve tenfold.
Heavy cosign, and then secondly, and now I get maybe it's partially the talent's fault because a lot of them, COVID parties and all that shit. But, like, in a post-COVID world, if you're going to call NXT a third brand, you know what would really help the product to me, or at least make it more bearable at best? Fucking treat them like it. I want more NXT Rumble participants. I want SmackDown and Raw Superstars to be drafted, quote-unquote, to NXT. I want them to be treated like an actual fucking brand.
Yeah. I remember when ECW was the third brand, they actually had draft picks go to and from ECW. They didn't just go to and from SmackDown and Raw, and then every now and then they would call someone up from ECW. No, like, ECW was fully treated like a third brand. And they even got to participate in Survivor Series and stuff like NXT did 2 years ago. But then this past year, NXT wasn't part of it because of apparently, like, they just love partying with masks off.
Yeah. COVID can't stop us. We're going to live forever.
You're off Survivor Series. Oh, no! But the masks, they're so oppressive.
He's canceling her. They're going to cancel me next. Oh my God.
I even said, oh my God, just in an indignant tone.
But, yeah, just really start treating them like an actual fucking brand and stop paying lip service.
Well, hopefully by the time November rolls around this year, WWE will be fully at the point that they're just like, COVID doesn't exist anymore, fuck you. And they will be able to participate in Survivor Series and more of the Royal Rumble again this year.
Yeah, and again, being on the draft,
I also saw that apparently Survivor Series might actually be treated as a bigger deal than SummerSlam this year.
Haven't we read that report the last couple of years, though? I feel like we've seen that report before.
I've never read it before. I just saw it for the first time today.
Interesting. I mean, we'll see, but, like, now, again, this is purely conjecture and just to drive home a further point, so I'm using some hypothetical elements here. But if, like, Becky was still an active wrestler and she got drafted to NXT because she's never been NXT Women's Champion, that would absolutely be a fucking ratings pop for the brand, and they'd be invested in that story.
Yep.
Guaranteed. So, like, yeah, that's the biggest improvement I'd make, Alex. And as far as I feel about NXT now, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. It could be fucking tomorrow. As you come to me and be like, dude, I'm really not feeling it anymore. Do you want to, like, restructure the channel? We'll just be like, I don't know, a fucking Stardom, maybe just Josie channel or whatever with the occasional New Japan. Sure. Because WWE, I'm just like, fuck it right now. With the exception of SmackDown, and even then, I don't expect that to last long. I'd be amazed if it makes it through the rest of the calendar year. Because I'm just waiting for that other shoe to drop, honestly.
I think the draft is going to be what ruins SmackDown, honestly.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it, man. I'm honest to God waiting for it. I am in a really just not give a fuck place, more than I think I've ever been. Because I know other times it's been like, oh yeah, this sucks or whatever, but at least there was always like people or stories that I'm like, yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
But like, it's not just that this time. I think, speaking out really did affect me.
Sometimes watching the product.
It really does.
Beyond
and that's
just, I don't like what I'm watching.
Exactly, because if that was still the problem, I mean, guys, look, I'll be real. I envision myself as like a 45-year-old having the same fucking complaints. Why are they pushing this person, and why am I so emotionally invested? But it's your fault. But here, it really is. Like, I sometimes honestly feel gross because I'm like, wow, what a shit fucking company. Between the Saudi deal, just the dragging your fucking heels with speaking out, and everything. It's like, God, what a seedy fucking business. Oh, God. So, yeah, I'm in a really bad place with them. And NXT, which used to be the crown jewel of their product, oh, it's really just, oh, God.
Literally the B show to me now. Behind.
Yeah. Oh, my God, yeah. Yeah,
it is firmly behind SmackDown in pretty much all aspects.
All right. So, next question.
Next set of questions are from Rotten Butter, and the first one is, I can feel the 5G coursing through me, aka #1 Rotten Butter question every month.
All right. Got a lot of music for me this month, so I'll start with that.
Ooh.
Joyner Lucas, who is amazing. I listened to a new band, just one song called Osatia, because I'm always on like that alt-rock kick. I know there were other rappers too. Montana 300, he was pretty good. Lotto had a new song come out, and she's also changed her name just to Lotto. I think she got some flack for formerly being Mulatto. Let's see, what else? Never Tell, I think, came out with a new song. Caught Up on Firefight. I feel like I'm forgetting other stuff. But yeah, it's been a good month for music, I'll tell you guys. Conquer Divide. Fucking love those ladies. They came out with a new song that was just spectacular. So... yeah, great month for music.
Bro, do you know who Olivia Rodrigo is? Have you been keeping up with this shit?
Somewhat, dude. Like, I may show how sheltered I am. I don't fucking know, but I didn't even know who Olivia Rodrigo was until, like, people were saying, oh, Indy Hartwell's quoting her lyrics or whatever. And I haven't bothered to listen to a song, but now I vaguely know who she is.
She experienced one bad breakup with a slightly older dude. Like, I think she was 16, he was 19 or something like that. And she has been making songs about it ever since. I think she's made 6 hit singles about this one fucking breakup.
So, very similarly to how people used to make fun of Taylor Swift. And they still might, but I haven't heard it as much.
Maybe worse, because I think Swifts were mostly about different dudes, at least.
Yeah. Damn.
She is milking this breakup for all it's worth.
I mean, I know art can be healing, but oof. Yeah, let me think about what else. I've been helping a friend of mine with her dissertation, so I've been reading, same philosophy shit, but just in a different vein, because taking a break from what I was working on there. Obviously, you and we watched the Eternals trailer. We're currently watching Jessica Jones Season 3. We just...
all of the Runaways. We're finally completely caught up on Runaways, and it's a great goddamn show.
It was fucking awesome. Finished Punisher Season 2.
Yes! Dude, I was just telling my mom, literally yesterday, we were driving home, and I was like, or actually, it might have even been today, now that I think about it. Yeah, it was today. And I did something, or I said something, and she was like, that reminds me of Frank. And I was like, oh, I miss him.
Yeah. Again,
I was like, I really hope he gets to be in the MCU. He was so cool.
Bro, was us finishing Invincible this month or last month? Was that last month?
Might have been this month. I don't remember, dude. I loved it. It was amazing. The fucking finale was absolutely goddamn bonkers and easily. And I've watched Dead Man Wonderland. Still, the finale of Invincible this season was easily the most violent sequence, I guess you could say, in any animated show I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I just want to make public record that my existence is pretty much a living, breathing J.K. Simmons stan account. Yeah. That man is
dude, if anything ever comes out about him, I'm gonna fucking break.
I already have, but then, see, I'm going to put myself back together just in time for something to come out, and then, yes, I will break all over again, probably harder, because he is so fucking good. I mean, between being a part of my favorite movie of all time, Whiplash, which, if you guys haven't watched it, just shaking my head, and now this.
I'm literally just trying to make the SMH sound verbal.
Yeah, exactly. And then Invincible, which was really just so good. So good.
Dude, it's so weird that people complain that it looks cheap and like, oh, they didn't have much of a budget and you could tell. And I'm just like, what are you watching? This show is crazy good looking. Are you kidding me?
Dude, I actually, because Christy and Chris watched it recently, and I was very curious to hear their thoughts. They seem to be more into the side characters than Mark. They thought the side characters were far more interesting. And you know what, though? Thinking back on the show, I can understand. Yeah, Eve was their favorite. Eve was actually their favorite. Yeah, I can
totally relate on that. Yeah, Eve was awesome. I want a story of just Eve going around fixing the world actually.
Yeah, all the while her dad gets like fucking so mad. No, you're a woman. Don't use your powers.
Can't be going out like that.
Oh God! And it's like, bro, like, what the fuck are you doing?
You sounded like you were having a fucking aneurysm, Jesus.
That father definitely will if he's like, my daughter is gonna save the earth. We don't do that feminism socialist shit in this household. But yeah, Invincible was great. I'm trying to think. Bro, my YouTube feed, we talk about internet rabbit holes, you and I. You've been down them, I've been down them. I don't think you're really a person if you haven't been down one.
Which rabbit hole are you talking about?
I've just been watching a lot of random Beavis and Butthead clips because they keep getting recommended to me.
Oh, okay.
Like,
do you know what rabbit hole I went down last night?
Oh, this will be good.
Van homes.
The hell is that?
Literally people who buy vans and then just live in them and like build their own little house inside the van.
Oh my God, because honestly, if you would have pressed me and you would have been like, well, guess, John, and I would have been like, oh God, I would have been like, is it Van Helsing and Sherlock Holmes put together? So you kill vampires and you solve crimes?
No, literally, like there are people that'll just buy a huge ass, like super tall, super big van, and they'll like get all like construction-y on it, and they'll like make a bed and a kitchen, and they'll like install a toilet, and they'll make their outside showers that you can hook up to a water jug. The guy that I watched had like a 20-gallon tank or a 50-gallon tank or something like that, and he was like it attached to the shower, and it had pretty damn good water pressure. I was impressed by the shower. And then like you get a stove and you get a generator just in case you end up needing a little extra power, and you get solar panels on the top of the roof, and you just live van life, and it's just a whole thing. It's just a thing, John. It's a thing.
You know what? It definitely seems like a thing. Hell yeah. All right. Let's see. What else did I do here?
Oh, because you were talking about music first.
Yeah.
A new-ish song out literally called Fuckboy.
Nice. That's
so good too. It's so good by an artist named Dixie. Her name is Dixie, and the name of the song is literally just Fuckboy.
Oh, speaking of music, I've listened to a bit more Polo G. His album's dropping June 11th. It's gonna, oh my God, that album's gonna take over the world. It's so funny because as I'm getting more into like rap and hip hop, I don't know. Actually, let me ask you, because I know you're somewhat like me, familiar with the scene. Have you listened to any J. Cole, and do you have a relationship with J. Cole? Like, do you like his music?
I think I've heard a J. Cole song before or two, but I'm not overly intimate now.
I'm gonna be honest, at the risk of getting shot, because he has a really rabid fan base. Like, he had an album come out recently. Now, the funny thing is with J. Cole, he did a freestyle, and I love listening to, like, quality rappers freestyle, and he had a genuinely good freestyle. He had a Cosby line in there that took me the fuck out. His album, though, I really couldn't vibe with it. I'm not going to stand up here and be like, oh, it was trash. Because, like, maybe you need to listen to more of his discography, and maybe it's part of a larger story, because I know rappers do that. I couldn't get into it, though. Polo G, though, who's more of a melodic rapper, he did a song recently with Lil Wayne, which I'm going to be honest, fuck Lil Wayne. I don't like him at all. That's a guy I can definitively say I just do not like him at all. I think he's trash. But he had a song, Rap Star. I think it's at like 70 million views now, and it's only been out for like a month. It's insane. His album's going to be fucking crazy. That's coming out June 11th. And Dax was another one. He did a song called Demigod. I felt so bad for him because he's like, oh, if I get 100,000 likes, I'll do something that's never been done before in the rap game. I think he's only sitting at like 75,000. He wanted to get him within 24 hours. That was the thing. And I'm like, oh, man, really wanted to see it. But yeah, Dax is pretty good. So yeah, again, music, my music taste. I'm able to answer a lot more about music than I used to on these, and it feels really good. Show-wise, though, what have I been watching with the family? I know we're going to start Castlevania soon, the final season on Netflix, and that's going to be so fucking good. Oh, dude, speaking of Netflix stuff, you and I did Love, Death, and Robots, Volume 2.
Oh,
so
yeah,
that was the big thing we did.
Man, I feel really disappointed the fact that we only got 8 new episodes, but at least they were longer. We only got like 2 full hours worth of new content, not even. Compared to season 1, that was like, I believe, 4.5 hours of content.
Yeah. Dude, that fucking
Christmas one. Man, I feel deprived. I wish they wouldn't have advertised it as a full new season. I wish they would have been like, oh, the first half of season 2 drops on this day, then the second half drops in early 2022. And I would have been like, oh, okay, that's cool. I'm looking forward to the first half. But no, they're just like, this is season 2. And I'm just like, wait, really? This is it? Really, y'all? You can't do better than this? Can't give me more? You're using all the same studios that made season 1. I want new shit. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. I gotta tell you though, guys, for those of you that are fans of the series, we fucking love that Christmas episode. What would have happened if we weren't good? That's what I want to know. That was horrifying.
Dude, I loved that so much. And I also, literally the first time, like at the very beginning of the episode, I was like, Santa's gonna be an alien. And I fucking nailed it.
Yeah. God, what a horrifying image, too. So yeah, you and I have been like really keeping up. I'll tell you what though, when you ask us this question next month, I can't fucking wait because Loki is next month. I cannot wait for that.
Dude, Rick and Morty starts this month too.
Yeah, June 20th their season drops, right?
Yeah, well, that's what I thought. Episode, yeah, I don't think the whole season's gonna drop.
Well, no, because they always do it like piecemeal. Yeah. But yeah, like June's gonna be stacked. Yeah. And again, I already mentioned like June. I know some artists that I like are gonna be dropping stuff, so that's fucking great. Yeah, I think, you know what, I'm going to cede the question here, because I'm sure there's more than... can't let this pass without mentioning we did try and give Jupiter's Legacy a chance the first episode. Neither one of us liked it. And it's so disappointing, because that trailer looked so good. But, man, just really seemed like it was going to be conservative propaganda for those boomers.
Yeah.
These youngin' heroes don't know what they're doing.
The more I think about it, the less it feels like conservative, it's like strictly conservative propaganda, and the more it feels like enlightened centrist propaganda. Like, oh, the Nazis are on both sides.
That tone took me out because it's so true. It's like
the exact tone of the show, though.
Bro, you captured the tone perfectly because that's the tone you have when you have excessive pride and an epiphany that literally nobody else is impressed by.
I was trying to channel my inner Smug from South Park. Fart sniffing Smug.
No, that was oh my god. The Nazis are on both sides. I have to tell someone about them. Like, nah, bro. Keep it in the drafts. Nobody gives a shit. But, yeah.
Oh, it's so fucking embarrassing. Yeah, that show, like, it was so promising, and I want to, like... I want to almost, like, be a part of the revival of Josh Hartnett's career, because he was, like, a part of my childhood, almost. But, fuck me, that show's writing is trash.
Yeah. Oh my god, even though I was about to die, this is still all your fault because we never kill villains ever, but you were literally about to die. I know, but the code! Fuck you.
It's like, the uncle's like, oh, honey, you looked really nice on the cover of that magazine, and the dad's just like, yeah, you did. You could have covered up a little more, though.
Dude, your timing on that was perfect. It's like, yeah, you did. Okay, I could let it pass. No. Yeah, you could have worn more clothes, though.
Dude, that's what the timing was in the show. They let, like, 5 seconds pass, and it was just this dead silence, and then he was just like, you could have covered up a little more. And then she snaps back with, I could have covered up less, too. And I was like, yeah, girl, tell him. And then he was like... Oh, and he started giving her shit, and then she was like, I don't need to deal with this shit. And he was just like, language. Like, what the fuck? How old is this woman's 20? What are you talking about?
You know in those 5 seconds he was thinking about it, too. Like, do I want to be that awful when I have my daughter home for dinner?
You know what?
Yeah.
We have company. I think I will.
I'm the anti-Steve Rogers, because, yeah, I think I will.
My more progressive brother is here. He won't mind me being a conservative piece of shit.
God, again, I don't even know why I felt
the uncle was a tanky, though, to be fair.
Oh, yeah, he was like, well, you know, have you ever considered that free will might be the problem?
Holy dude, I swear to God, if that line wasn't written by a hard right conservative, I will be blown the fuck away. That's where the enlightened centrism comes into play, though, because they're like, oh, all lefties just want to control everyone, and the righties are the ones that think that white people are the best and that Jesus is the best and all that stuff.
Bro, it's like they read Watchmen and just, like, didn't get anything out of it.
It's like they read Watchmen, except they thought that it was an honest critique of society rather than trying to show you the worst of it.
Exactly. Oh,
they were like
God.
Watchmen, and they were like, wow, this is exactly how society actually is. I'm inspired by this, rather than being like, wow, this version of society sucks. I hope that people wake up to it.
Yeah. Oh man, and then God, honestly, dude, this is Q&A, so I've got to move on. But I was just talking about it. If we were one of those YouTubers that like did other stuff, we could do just a whole video essay between the two of us on like everything wrong, just from watching that one episode.
Just from the first episode. First episode of Jupiter's Legacy, we could write a fucking story about everything that was wrong with it and why we stopped watching it right there.
And see, you know what, too, like, and this is more of a, I don't even know if I'm using this word properly, but
then we go online and we find out that the writer of the comic is a Jordan Peterson fan. Like, holy
yeah, his 12 Rules for Life is an excellent book. I think that's exactly what he said in his tweet. It's an excellent book. And I'm like, no. Like, what are you doing? But no, I don't even know if I'm using this term properly, but as, like, more of a meta critique, too, a show like this, it's just so outdated.
Dude, and the thing is, too, like, we are seeing so much superhero content, we can afford to be fucking picky if we want to be.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like, you are not going to tell us, you're not going to show us anything that we couldn't have gotten in a better message form from The Boys.
Dude, and that's exactly my point, because, like, I feel like this show, and I'm not even trying to like go even harder on it than we already have. I feel like this show at best, maybe like mid to late 90s could have worked, but in this day and age where we've gotten shows now like Invincible most recently and the fucking Boys, which I honestly feel like was game changing. I feel like the Boys is going to be
remembered for years to come. And I also would even lump Umbrella Academy in that group too.
Yeah, I actually would agree with you on that. When you get shows like that are very counterculture in the sense of like all these dominant narratives you have about heroes and that just gets uprooted. And then you're just like, it's literally like a conservative piece in the sense of, okay, well, let's return to those tropes of hero culture. And it's like, but no, we've moved past them now. Like, you can't go back to that when you've done, like, the revolutionary stuff that, again, The Boys, Invincible,
there was some interesting potential in Jupiter's Legacy. Like, there was some parts that I was like, okay, this is a cool concept. I want to see where this goes. But then, like, the actual writing and the sort of agenda that they're trying to push through the writing was such a turnoff for me, I stopped caring about where those angles would end up.
Yeah, dude, I'm right there with you, because even the question, like, look, I'll be honest, the dialogue between the uncle and the father, I'm okay with having dialogue.
That was the moment that I was like, okay, fuck this show.
But see, and here's my thing. I'm okay with them having dialogues like that, especially in fictional mediums where you should explore even the worst possible answers to questions, right? But, like, make it interesting. And that's the problem, is that nobody in the context of that conversation was really interesting to me. Because if they were, I would have been like,
one guy, it's like two extremes, right? It's like one guy is like, fuck free will, we need to just enforce our will upon them, become their kings. And the other one was just like, no, we're not allowed to intervene to stop bad things from happening. That would be wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And again, sure, play out those philosophies to their conclusions, sure, but, like, make it compelling at least. And my God, after that one battle scene, where I honestly thought the uncle was like going to have the father die, right? But it actually seemed like he was sincerely trying and shit. So that was a bit off
dude. I was under the impression that the uncle was like pretending to control the guy with the nuclear reactor in his chest so that he could actually kill the dad. And then it turns out no, he was actually doing it and just couldn't hold him for as long as he thought he could.
Yeah, and then, like, again, his son, and like, oh, why'd you do that? I don't know, he was literally crushing your chest, dog.
Yeah.
I didn't see the God that you prayed.
Self-defense stop being viable? Seriously, like, he was, literally, when your son is being given a choice between your life and the life of somebody who's trying to end your life, it's black and white. Like, it's a clear, obvious choice. Fuck you, Dad.
Maybe.
The one thing that this show genuinely gets right about the real world is that dads are fucking awful.
Yeah. Like, I'm sorry, because after that, I'm like, oh, well, maybe he'll just let you pray on it next time, and like maybe your God will come save you. So you clearly defer to that. Jesus Christ. Oh, God, it was so bad. But anyway, to get back on track of the initial question, I really have nothing else to fill in. Do you have anything you wanted to add as far as like content we watched or whatever that I might be forgetting?
We've been keeping up with the No Pixel GTA server as best as we can, mostly through Sykkuno.
Yes.
Especially through Ash. I've also been kind of trying to keep up with Wendy Natsumi's character, Natalie. I'm trying to remember, because there have been a few people that I've watched. Peter Park. John, I don't know if you know who Peter Park is, but he is fucking hilarious. Like, he is one of the best sort of improv comedy Twitch streamers I've ever seen. He's so funny.
Oh, nice.
And then, I obviously, like, we occasionally keep up with, like, Dundee, aka Whippy, and guys like that. That's about it, though, as far as that goes. Like, it's one of those things where there's just so fucking much content that if we tried to watch it all, there just aren't enough hours in a day. We would need a hyperbolic time chamber.
Yeah, absolutely.
How many days are in an hour in the real world in a hyperbolic time chamber?
Wait, how many days are in an hour in the world? So you figure a whole year passes in 1 day in the chamber. Yeah, I don't know. Fuck.
Okay, so a year in the chamber is like a day in the outside world, right?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay, well, we'd probably have to take, like, a week of real-world time to watch all of the No-Pixel GTA 5 content that we want to.
Right.
Because there are so many people, there are, like, hundreds of people on the server streaming for anywhere from, like, 3 to fucking 14 hours a day. It's nuts.
Yeah, that's fucking wild.
Yeah. So, I've been keeping up with tech news. Oh my God. Speaking of tech news, John, did I tell you about these new fucking Apple MacBooks and Macs that are coming out?
Weren't those the things that you tried to find a layman's way of explaining it to me, like their capabilities and such?
It's fucking nuts. It's actually, like, it's... If I was somebody that was, like, a hardcore stan of one of the... Because that's the thing. You know how there are console wars about fucking everything?
Yes.
There are console wars over processors, over computer processors. It's Intel versus AMD, right? If I was firmly on either side of that fence, I'd be fucking embarrassed right now. Because Apple just came out and exploded everything that they thought they were doing. Because, like, here's the thing. Processors can do single-core tasks, and they can do multi-core tasks. And, like, with single cores, it's literally just how powerful is an individual core in your processor. And then multi-core is when all your cores are working together, how powerful is your processor, right? So single core, the M1 is literally the most powerful processor in the world right now already. And that is it just came out in like September, October of 2020 for Apple's MacBook lineup. It was like 13-inch lineup, basically. They're smaller laptops. And now they're basically saying, okay, well, we can get the best single core performance. So rather than trying to limit ourselves to only having 8 cores, because I don't think that they can do multi-threading. So they only have 8 cores, but they also only have 8 threads, which is the Intel or AMD equivalent to 4 cores, because they have multi-threading, so each core is basically 2 threads. Same deal. But they're just like, fuck you, we're going to just multiply the number of cores that we have in our chips. And so they're going to have an iMac come out this year, probably in like July or August, that's going to have a 40-core processor in it. That's fucking insane. That's so stupid. And, like, they're talking about putting out an iMac with a 128-core GPU in it, which blows every GPU on the market for a Windows laptop right now out of the water. It's insane. Apple is living in the future right now. I'm not even an Apple fanboy, but I know if Abel would hear this, he would be beaming with joy, because he is.
Oh, wow, nice. Okay, I didn't know that. Interesting.
Anyway, so yeah, that's the thing. Very, very close to getting my new laptop. I actually just saw today, for the first time, a Legion 5 Pro was available to buy on the Lenovo website. Unfortunately, it didn't have the spec that I wanted, and it's probably not even going to end up being the laptop that I get, because I'm probably going to end up getting a Legion 7, because it's more powerful and better cooled. So, that's all that. Let's see, what else? Have we been, like, keeping up with anything else on YouTube that we want to share?
Not that I'm
I
aware
feel
of.
like Hermitcraft Season 7 is basically over at this point.
Yeah.
Saikuno is like the main thing we watch there. Kana-chan we've been keeping up with when we can. Reika Saiki, etc. Yeah, I think that's about it. So yeah, I think that covers everything. I will say I have been listening to a lot of newer music lately. And like that's why I mentioned like the Olivia Rodrigo thing. BTS has a new song called Butter that I like. Lil Nas X just continues to drop hit after hit after hit. It's insane. He's amazing. What else? I already mentioned that. I think on another one. Oh, this new song, John. Have you? I know I've posted it at least in the Discord. I don't know if I've ever sent it to you or if you've seen it. There's a song that just came out like a week or two ago called "Build a Bitch." Have you seen this?
I think I've heard of it because I think you have mentioned this to me.
Dude, it's so catchy. It's so good. Valkyrie from the Among Us lobbies that we watch is actually in the music video for it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, but it's by like the #1 TikToker, Bella Porsche. She's like #1 on TikTok. She's like the most liked TikToker in the world. And she started her music career with this Build a Bitch song, and it's a huge hit, and it's super catchy, and she got fucking Valkyrie and Mia Khalifa, the former porn star, to be in it. Like it's really cool. It's really cool.
Nice. Wow.
All right, that's gonna wrap it up, I think, for this question. So let's move on to our second question from Rotten Butter, which is a bit of a longer one, but it is just for you, John. I didn't get any real questions from Rotten Butter this time around. I got the usual first one and then the jokey third one, but you got the actual question here, this middle one. Fellow disabled person, what annoys you more? When a person insists you can't do something that you full well know you're capable of, or when a person insists you can do something that you know full well you can't, but then says that it's just because you're not trying hard enough?
Ooh, what a good question. Ron Butter, not to pry, I'd be curious what your disability is, because I'm cerebral palsy combined with anxiety, and I'm pretty sure, and I don't say this lightly, but given that I had an intracranial hemorrhage at birth, I'm pretty sure I've got some kind of, autism or ADD or ADHD or something there. So yeah, really appreciate this question. God, everything about ableism annoys me so much. You know what though? I think honestly it would be the can't do something, and I think that's only because that's always going to be more restricting than somebody believing that you can. Because somebody believing that you can, well, that's not a problem of like access or this or that, right? But I think when somebody says you can't, that's far more limiting of what a life is and can be. I had that happen at 7. When doctors were like, oh, if he hasn't walked by now, he'll never be able to. And, I even wrote like an op-ed for the New York Times, which got some interesting feedback from readers because they were like, I don't want this piece that John Altman wrote to have people distrust doctors. And the whole reason why I wrote it isn't because like I have this malice towards doctors or whatever. If anything, I'm a hypochondriac too, so maybe I trust doctors a little too much sometimes. But it's just that I feel like we have these internalized, socialized, ableist norms that we project onto the world as kind of like natural, right? It's kind of like that's the way things are supposed to be. Rather than looking at it on a case-by-case basis of, what an individual person is capable of. I think they were contrasting me against a norm that they had in mind, which again, I think in a lot of cases is understandable. I think they do that with like cancer patients all the time, right? Like, oh, if you have this cancer, you have this percentage of survival, only because we're contrasting it with all these other cases. So I think it's just the natural dictates of science. I just wish people would care to know more about us, because I feel like disability, and you'll see many theorists say this, is that disability is more than just the biomedical level. Like, my disability is more than just my muscles being naturally tighter than yours, say. It's I don't get access to certain spaces. Although, admittedly, full cap, thankfully, I haven't had this problem, but I know plenty of friends who have, where it's like it doesn't have a ramp or it doesn't have proper accommodations. I've definitely been infantilized a lot. I think especially, in my early years where I should have been probably slowly learning independence and stuff like that. So I definitely thinking about my experiences with ableism, I just feel like the saying that you can't, and then I get your reasoning though, because I'm just reading your message that like, well, you get satisfaction of proving them wrong, and I did on a lot of levels, but I think still for me, why I say you can do something is that these are baked into our institutions and our structures, which I think have far deeper effects than somebody insisting again on a socio-political level that you can do something. Because I think it's always more of a hindrance to prove to somebody that you can do something than that you can't. I don't know. So that's just kind of my take on that. So, jokey question?
Well, I was just going to kind of add in there, like, if I'm trying to teach someone how to do something, and they can't, and they tell me they can't, I internalize that, and I feel like it's because it's my fault that I'm not telling them or teaching them how to do it correctly. Rather than, like, oh no, that's because you're not trying hard enough, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's just gross. I mean, it's funny because I was talking to my mom a few days ago, and I always hate people that are like, oh, it's just like a lack of effort, or what I see a lot with fucking ableism against disabled people, at least as that goes. They're just like, oh, defer to a higher power. Like, oh, pray that you won't be disabled. I don't even know, Rotten Butter. Just to have a little side conversation with you. If you saw the trend, I didn't even look at it until my friend James brought it up, like in a jokey way, and even then I didn't bother to like look into it and get the full context. Hashtag a cripple has walked. And, like, my mom was irate about it, I guess because, she does think about me and stuff like that. I honestly just laughed because religion has a history, that's what I wanted to say, of, dehumanizing us and taking what we struggle against as, like, fodder for their narratives of, like, donate to my megachurch or worship this God. But I do know disabled theists that, are trying to, quote-unquote, crip religious spaces, and I use that word from a dear friend of mine who taught me that crip can be a verb. And I love that mindset. I've definitely, with the community I've built, gotten a stronger sense of disability pride. Crip religious spaces, crip the idea of religion. Don't just make us passive objects for, quote-unquote, God's will. I am an atheist. I probably will go to my deathbed an atheist, but I know for people that believe, you shouldn't be infantilized and dehumanized just in service of a theistic narrative, we'll say. So that's something that I hear a lot is like, oh, well, if you just pray, maybe you'll get through it. It's like, well, no. Like, maybe if society adapted, that would be better.
Makes me want to stab someone with a fork.
Yeah, I've definitely been there, bud. I've definitely been there. But, yeah, jokey question?
Third question from Rotten Butter. Did Peter Piper pick a peck of pickled peppers? If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where's the peppers Peter Piper picked?
What say you, friend?
Are you not impressed that I just pulled that off without getting tongue-twisted at all?
I mean, that definitely was impressive. No doubt about it.
I think Rotten Butter was trying to trip me up there, but I pulled that off real easy.
Yeah! That's the real victory here.
All right. Final set of questions from Alex Foster. First up, in kayfabe, who would be the best and worst wrestlers to share an apartment with? I mean, worst would just be the Big Show, right?
Yeah. Oh, God. Finding furniture to accommodate him. Again, oddly enough, going back in a way to the disability question, because, like, accessibility people. It matters to all of us. Yeah. God. I'll tell you, worst person to room with, Dolph Ziggler. I just, oh, God. I'd probably want to rip my hair out if I wasn't losing it already.
He strikes me as the type to bully people and play it off like he's like having fun with them when he's actually making fun of them.
Exactly. And it's like, bro, I've seen what you've considered. He seems
like the type to like shaving cream your hand and make you put it on your face, and then you like get angry and he's just like, chill out, man. It's just a joke. It's just a prank. Like that's the Ziggler style to me.
Yeah. As far as best roommates, I feel like living with Asuka would be a fucking blast.
I was gonna say Asuka. Oh my God! Literally, you just spend the whole day eating food that she cooks and playing video games with her. What's better?
The fucking dream.
That's her whole life is eating and gaming.
I would say middle of the road roommate would be like Adam Cole. It'd be the best because it's Adam Cole, but it would be the worst because you'd invite Foster over for a housewarming party and he'd make short jokes and that would just kill the room.
I want to do that so bad now. Holy shit!
Wow!
I want to see how many subtle short jokes Foster can slip under the mat without Cole noticing before he gets pissed off.
Wow, you reveled way too much in that. Oh, man.
Oh, my God. We sit down to eat, and Foster's just like, I don't have to pay for this, will I? I might be a little short.
Go to your room.
Oh, my God. Oh, I'm sorry, Adam. I can't read that sign on the wall. I'm a little short-sighted.
God damn it. Weird choice for worst. I'd also honestly say Chad Gable because he seems like a go-getter and I like sleeping in a little bit. Yeah, right? Shorty G. But no, he seems like one of those real go-getters. It's like...
Dude, speaking of Gable, another really bad candidate, another candidate for the worst would be Corbin.
Oh, God.
He brings a similar problem to the Big Show as far as, like, he's 6'7". But also, he would never stop talking about himself. And I just imagine him also bringing those two guys that have been showing up with him occasionally, or at least at some point. I think they're gone now, but at one point there were two guys that would, like, start showing up with him. They were, like, his King's Court or whatever. I think they lasted, like, a month. But yeah, like, I just feel like he'd be really obnoxious to even be around at all, much less have to live with.
God, I'd be like, hey, Corbin, you want to watch a movie? I don't know, let me consult my $10,000 timepiece. Jesus Christ.
We're only allowed to watch movies with royalty in them.
Oh, I've got two more answers for, like, best roommates, and I'm guessing, like, Foster didn't put a limit on like, who we could say. Fucking TJ and Cesaro, because we would just watch wrestling together and it'd be fucking awesome. Like, their enthusiasm for it would probably rehabilitate my love, at least for the Western stuff. And then we'd get to watch, like, fucking Stardom and New Japan together and it'd be fucking dope. So, like, yeah, TJ and Cesaro for me. I'd fuck around with that arrangement for a month.
Also, since it did say in kayfabe, I'm going to add Shotzi Blackheart because I wouldn't be able to handle her energy if she was always on.
Yeah. Oh, God, in kayfabe, worst. I can't believe neither one of us, unless you mentioned it and I just kind of passed over it. Charlotte. Oh, my God, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I'd
Dude,
be like,
fuck
kill me.
kayfabe. Charlotte, in real life or in kayfabe, like, either way, I wouldn't want to be around her.
Yeah. Damn. Damn.
All right. Next up, second question from Foster. What's a food that you love but could never cook?
Food that I love but could never cook. For me, Foster, that's so many options.
Come on, man. You could totally learn how to cook. I could teach you how to cook.
No, you really shouldn't do that if we all value our lives. You need to simmer down right now. You know what? I'm gonna say probably because I'd fuck the recipe up royally. Singapore curry rice noodle because I wouldn't know how to prep the noodles properly, and then the seasoning would probably be all off. So yeah, I love that shit. I love spicy food, and that's one of my favorite noodle dishes because I love noodles that have the consistency of angel hair because that's my favorite type of pasta. So yeah, I'll say that. What about you, Ash? I know you're quite adept in the kitchen.
I'm going to keep this real simple and say Pizza Hut's boneless buffalo wings, just because, like, they have a very specific flavor to the buffalo sauce that they use, and they keep their wings nice and crunchy even after they've already been coated in the sauce. I just don't know how to do any of that. So that would be my answer, but, like, I'm really kind of limiting myself to anything that's, like, fast food just because of the fact that I feel like if you tell me, oh, cook this, I would be able to figure it out. Like, even if it took a few days, I'd be able to figure it out for sure.
Yeah.
But
I like
the wings at Pizza Hut, man, that sauce is something special when they're good at it. When they use the good stuff, it's the best.
All right. I like that. Next question from Foster.
Third question from Foster. In honor of the tribal chief's birthday, you two, meaning us two, John, have been invited to celebrate with him. What do we bring as a gift?
Oh, God, that's so much pressure. Like, normally, I just like to be snarky and make, mean comments because I really have nothing inside. But having him confront me with that fact would just destroy me. What do I do? Oh God.
I feel like in the moment I would panic and just give him my wallet and be like, "Here, you can have my identity."
And Roman just looks at you like, "Why would I want that? I don't know. I don't even want it. Just somebody take it, please. Make it stop."
Wow, you took that to a really, really like. I feel insulted now. I feel like you made that so much worse.
Dude, listen, man. I'm probably projecting.
It went from me being scared of Roman and being willing to give him everything to you making it seem like I don't want to be me.
Well, just out of fear. I know I wouldn't want to be me out of fear confronted with Roman. I'm feeling so much pressure right now, and this is purely a hypothetical question. God. You know, the smart answer would be something that reflects his, like, Samoan heritage and stuff, but, like, I'm very socially inept, so I'd probably get something that offends him, and then I'd feel even worse. So I don't know.
You buy him a Hawaiian lei.
Yeah, oh, God, that is so me when I'm nervous. Like, I'll just do this. It's the wrong move, son. You know that, right? Yes. God. I guess for his birthday, I'd be like, hey, listen, you know, I know this is family time for you, so I'll be Jey Uso. Hell, I'll be Jimmy. You know what? I was going to finish that joke. Never mind. I'll be Jey Uso for a day, and you can just spend time with your family. So I would just take, I would just serve him his whole birthday. Be like, you know, you want a drink? You want this? You want that?
You'd cater for him.
I'd cater for him. Absolutely. So I'd offer myself. I'd be like, listen, indentured servitude's making a comeback for one night only for you, head of the table. Oh, man. So, next question from Foster.
Considering Roman, what do you... Wait, what? What do you do? Okay, what do you do to eventually get yelled at or thrown out of his celebration?
I don't know.
I mean, this is obvious for me. I question something that he says just because I'm me and I can't help myself.
Oh, God, dude. Speaking of social distance, we might have to be 5 minutes apart when we enter the party. Oh, God.
He'd be like, he'd just say something that would bug me. He'd just be like, yeah, I was trying to talk to this guy, but I think he was deaf. And I'd just be like, wait, did you just say deaf? Don't you mean deaf? And then he'd be like, get the fuck out.
God, and then, I don't know, I would just be me, and then I would be indignant enough in the last 5 seconds to be like, you can't do this to me, I'm me!
Oh my God.
And then Roman wouldn't even have to say that's why this is happening. He wouldn't waste his breath on a retort for something he's already won. Like, what? So, I don't know, I'd probably just be way too excited, and I would just get on his nerves, because, like, my nervousness would just emanate off every pore. And then be like, just get him the fuck out of my house. And be like, you know what, that's fine. Honestly, I would have kicked myself out 10 minutes ago. You, sir, are a saint. Have a great birthday. Oh, man. Next question from Foster.
The fifth and final question from Alex Foster. What will the plot of the TWitWoW movie be?
Oh, dear God. Guys, you all really, really love us, and that means a lot, because like, you guys are talking about, like, fucking conventions and movies, and I'm like, where? What timeline is this?
Corruption, scandal, TWitWoW's rise and fall in theaters this June.
You know what it would be, because it's perfect? It would be just the complete YWC universe, with really emphasis on the Y, like YouTube, because I wouldn't want to just focus on us. It would start, we'd see Ashton in his home, because I've said time and again, and I make no bones about it, there'd be no TWitWoW without this dude. Like, he handles fucking everything. And he'd get an email about a copyright strike, and that, you know, because YouTube's fucked around again, it's no longer like a 3 strikes thing, like, no, this is it, channel's terminated, and then it's just Ashton and I going on a road trip, vlogging our road trip and talking about wrestling while we're making pit stops in hotels, because we're going to go to YouTube headquarters and fight the channel termination face-to-face. So it's TWitWoW versus YouTube for our movie, because we got one.
But I thought if that ever happened, we would just move to Twitch.
I mean, yeah, honestly, that'd probably be your energy, because I'd be like, all right, let's go, let's do it. John, it's Twitch, and the movie would be like 10 minutes.
There would be more time focused on me chilling at home and getting to the email and reading it. And then I would call you and be like, John, our channel's been terminated. What the fuck, man? We got a copyright strike. There's no more 3-strike system. It's just it. The channel's dead, man. The channel's dead. What do we do? And you'd be like, you know what, Ashton? I know exactly what we're going to do. We're going to get in the car. You're going to come pick me up first because I don't drive. And we're going to get in the car and we're going to drive to YouTube Studios. We're going to vlog the whole thing. We're going to talk about wrestling on the goddamn way. And when we get there, we're going to raise hell. We're going to throw papers around. We're going to punch people and we're going to get our channel back. And I'd just be like, wait a minute, John. Isn't this what Twitch is for?
Credits roll. They don't even see us like on the Twitch account. They just ask the question. It hangs in the air because we have to have something dramatic. They're just like, isn't that what Twitch is for? And then I just look at you like, oh my, credits roll. Yeah. But yeah, I guess.
Oh, Rotten Butter with the perfect title, TWitWoW.
Yeah, TWitWoW, the twitching or whatever. Yeah. Oh God! It would either be that,
the beginning of the end, and the end of the beginning.
it would either. It would. You know what? Though, since that was too much of an easy out, I guess I would augment the concept to just be like. It seems like all of social media is collaborating against us. Like my Twitter account, I can't tweet, or at least I'm what do they call that? Where it's almost like you're ghosted away, like nobody can see your tweets, like you're just invisible, even though your account's still active. Shadow banning, I think. Like stuff for a shadow ban, maybe. And maybe we would kind of do a vibe like on Thank You for Smoking, where people think we do just such a bad service because it's like, oh, you guys, you talk about pro wrestling and you glorify all this. Don't you know what a bad industry it is? And we're like, yeah, but, we still enjoy it anyway because look at Stardom and stuff. And so, yeah, then it would end with us having a congressional hearing just defending how fucking awesome we are and how all the politicians can just suck on this. So, yeah, we can't have such an easy out.
I feel like if we were going to get a movie, it would be because we become a big success, right? So
yeah.
The actual movie would be like a 3-part play. Part 1 would be like my introduction, where I did like the whole thing where I met you, and then you started like advertising my blog and started plugging my YouTube channel that had no videos uploaded to it, and it pissed a bunch of people off. And then the whole Horseman angle ending with the hiatus. Then part 2 would be the return, and it would be basically everything up until before we actually got really, really successful. And then part 3 would be the blow up.
Yeah. I like that. A nice little 3-part structure. It's good.
Actually, dude, if we tried to tell that whole story, that would be like a 2.5-hour movie.
I mean, hell, Lord of the Rings. Actually, Lord of the Rings is even longer than that. Fuck it, we'll take our 2.5 hours.
Fucking Snyder Cut, baby, 4.5 hours.
Yeah, oh my God. In fact, just a quick side note, because I meant to say this with the whole Tom Phillips thing, and I'm just now thinking about it, because, we are a commentary channel. I know this is never going to happen, but if Stardom wanted to branch out to English commentary, imagine if they snagged fucking Tom Phillips. I'd actually be interested to see him call a fucking Mayu matchup. I've just been thinking about that today, and I'm like, nice. So, yeah, TWitWoW the movie. I like both of our ideas. And that seems quite nice. And you said that was Foster's final question?
That was the final question of the entire Q&A.
That was fucking sexcellent. And I mean, I was wrong ultimately, but I mean, we're clocking in at 92 minutes. And what did I tell you? This goes longer than an hour and a half. I'd be shocked. Not that shocked, because it's just a little over. But yeah, we got done around that time.
You really do lie a lot, jeez.
I do. I really do. I'd say it's a problem, but it benefits me. So yeah, guys, next Q&A. Obviously, last Thursday of every month, so next month it is going to be June 24th. Oh man.
That's literally the earliest day that a Q&A can possibly be. Not counting February's, yeah.
All right, so get your questions in, and I guess I'm going to have to be a lot more adamant about it because we only had 21 questions. Not that I'm complaining. We had a nice, healthy time and everything, and they were still good questions. But yeah, see how many questions you can get in, guys. In fact, before I even forget, I will switch out the pinned tweet right now. Be sure to like the video, subscribe, click the bell icon so you're never going to miss any of that TWitWoW goodness. And we'll see you again, when, Ashton? Tuesday for NXT? Or no, we'll see him again tomorrow because the weekend isn't even over yet. Or week isn't even over yet.
For 2 things, because we were going to have Stardom tomorrow and SmackDown.
Yeah, Stardom's nice too. It's going to be like an hour, 43-minute show. I did look today, so it's under 2 hours.
Bro, is
And
there
then, yeah.
anything more comfy in the world of wrestling than Stardom right now? The answer is no. I'm just going to cut you off for there.
Yeah, that's the smart thing to do. So yeah, I'm sorry guys, I way jumped the gun, but yeah, Friday's our last day of you know, 2 recordings.
You really don't want to talk about Raw or SmackDown, I mean.
Well, yeah, honestly, dude, it was just a brain fart because for whatever reason it does kind of feel like Friday, even though we just did a Q&A, and the whole thing with Q&A is last Thursday of every month.
No, dude, I feel you though. I get the Friday vibe for sure.
Yeah, I'm just tilting my face off, guys. Don't mind me.
No!
Wow. Okay. Okay, you're at like a 10. An 8's appropriate.
I'm at like a 7.
But yeah, guys, like the video, subscribe, click the bell icon, all that good shit. Get your questions in. I'm literally pinning the tweet now.
Oh my god, you're so efficient.
I am. It's called participating in the likeness of your face. And I don't know what else is happening. So, yeah, guys, thank you for coming. I'm going to hand it over to Ashton to take us home.
Oh, okay. I mean, thanks for coming, everyone. We hope you get our Q&A answers. And, you know, remember to actually ask questions next month because we got kind of shortchanged this year. So we hope that you're looking forward to tomorrow with our doubleheader of covering both Stardom and SmackDown, which I know a few people in our audience absolutely love, and we are quite into as well. So we hope you're looking forward to that. And of course, then we've got next Tuesday, it'll be more NXT, probably more Stardom. We'll see. But until then, the most important thing is that you're able to remember to stay tuned.